Hello and welcome to episode 30 of Jank It Up Fuzzball. I'm your host Brian, aka Kylo Jank, bound by the Force. Hey, I'm just as surprised as you are that this is a new episode of the podcast. It probably wasn't 2 weeks ago that I said, hey, this is episode 29 and I'm done until Covert Missions comes out and have a good February. And to be honest, some things have happened last week that have gotten me kind of excited or inspired me to want to hop on the mic. Most immediately, my wife and my 2 kids are spending the night at my mother-in-law's house because they have tomorrow off. I'm recording this on a Sunday evening, so they have tomorrow off for President's Day. And so I was left home alone, which is great. I have to teach tomorrow, which is fine. So actually, Greg came over this afternoon, some afternoon destiny. We had a good time rolling some dice. That was fun. And then, I probably should be planning for my class tomorrow. And I'm pretty well planned for my class tomorrow, but I probably should be doing that or going to bed early so I can be nice and rested for work. But instead, I pulled out the microphone and threw on the headphones and hit record, and here we are because I have some ideas. I have some ideas and I have some cards I want to give away. So it's going to be a shorter episode compared to the last few. I want to talk very, very briefly about some games Greg and I played today. I want to talk about a cool idea that Nick from Game Shop at Destiny tossed out my way, and we are going to be giving away some of the promo cards that are featured in some of the quarterly kits provided by Game Shop of Destiny, and we have a neat format to do that. And I thought I would just write an article about it to get it out there, but I think by and large, having a podcast, I guess if you're a subscriber, it's a nice surprise for it to show up, and also it'll hopefully get some more entries, and we're looking forward to that. So I'll dive into that detail very, very soon. Right off the top, though, let me first congratulate Rick out of Troy, New York. Rick was the winner of the Mall Monochromatic card. And thank you to everyone that entered. Just a refresher that to enter, you had to choose a blue partner to pair with Mall Skilled Duelist. And Rick, for what it's worth, chose Count Dooku, the newest version of Count Dooku. So his suggestion was running single die Maul and elite Count Dooku, hoping that Dooku could be able to close some games once Maul went down. I think that's interesting. I like Dooku's power action, and Dooku has some his dice sides are pretty nice. So I certainly think that's cool. Other suggestions involved Night Brother, and there was some others with Talzin, which I think is really fascinating. Maul with Talzin would be a lot of fun. So thank you for that. I don't really know. I do want to build a mono blue Maul deck, and so these suggestions were great, and I don't know if I'll have anything new to add, but that's great. So Rick, thank you for entering. I'll get that card in the mail to you very, very soon. Probably by the time you're hearing this, it's already in the mail. So thanks for that. So as I said, I played some Destiny today. So Greg came over, and we got some games in during the daylight hours, and I first ran out a slightly tweaked version of IG-88 and Jabba, Influential Kingpin. And I was pretty excited for it. I actually put some supports in, a couple of supports, and I was ready to go. Greg pulled out Vader Greedo, which he kind of teased out on Twitter earlier in the week. So that was fine. I love that Vader is part of my personal meta, which basically extends between me and Greg. And so that was exciting. First game, Vader rolled trash, just all the way, like shields, blanks, resources. I really didn't have to do a lot to mitigate. I just never saw the 4 for a resource side. It was just easy to survive that, and I was feeling in control of the game. I was doing great. I think I don't even remember if I took Greedo out because it was just chipping away. I was never really felt threatened. And at the start of what turned out to be the last round, I thought I was in a good position. I had IG-88. He had 4 health left and a couple of weapons on him. And then I had Jabba, who had 6 health left and a weapon on him. I believe it's Pulse Cannon, actually. Pulse Cannon, which was good. And that Pulse Cannon failed me. But other than that, it was okay. And Greg was on the play. And Vader, who had done nothing, literally nothing, all game, he had Vader's saber on him. And he rolled out Vader. And he hit 4 for $1, 4 for $1, +2. And since it was like the first action of the round, he had full money. I had no dice in the pool. I I had one thing I probably should have done. I had an armor plating in my hand. I didn't play it. I think I played a bounty thinking that, well, this is going to be bad, but I'll still have a chance with Jabba to do it. But yeah, so 10 damage. Greg resolved one of the 4 into IGA to kill him. Then he resolved the remaining 6 into Jabba, and that took him to 1 health remaining. But I forgot that with Vader's saber die, after you resolve that die, if it's on Vader, you can deal 1 direct damage to an opponent. And that killed Jabba. So really, a game that I thought I had. I was cruising. I was feeling good about it. Suddenly went horribly, horribly wrong. So it was great. I mean, if you love Destiny, you love that. You love Vader god rolling, and it's just like, holy cow. It's not fun when it's against you, but it was a good start. We played a second game of that, and I got beat again. Just Vader rolled a lot better from the onset, and so I just couldn't handle it, and that was fine. So at that point, we changed decks. I busted out Raylo. I built my first Raylo deck. I've been inspired by getting some of the prizes from the Prime and just seeing everyone else playing Raylo. I built a very aggro Raylo. It has like 10 or 11 upgrades and a couple of conflicted, and I was just seeing how it went. And Greg mercifully changed decks. He ran out a new 3-wide deck that he put together with Elite Arenda Price, Mud Trooper, and Super Commando. I won 2 games in a row. Ray and Kylo are a lot of fun, and it's getting their power actions, getting their specials. I know I played some things poorly, but I can see the appeal and the allure of Raylo. That's very clear. I think Greg, the concept of his deck is interesting. I don't think it's just optimized, right? It's the first time I put it together, and I killed Price first both games, and I was just able to shield up, and he didn't have the firepower to kind of punch down my characters. First game, I didn't lose a character. Second game, I think Kylo did eventually fall, but a mostly shielded up Raylo or 100% health with shields going up against a Mud Trooper isn't much of a game. So that was good. And so following that, we decided to take the 2 winning decks against one another. And so he got out Vader again. I had Raylo, and we played 2 games and we split them. So he won the first one. It was pretty tight. Vader was on the ropes. Kylo was already dead. Rey was also very, very wounded. And it got down to if I could just roll 2 damage on Rey or one of her upgrades, I could potentially win. And I just couldn't do it. I even tried. I should have tried Fighting Pit because we were playing on his battlefield, and I had control of the battlefield. And there was a Rey die in the pool, Vader die in the pool, Greedo die in the pool. And I did do Fighting Pit, but I did it against Greedo because Greedo was showing 2 damage that I didn't want to eat. And I should have just been more courageous because had she rolled a 2 against Vader, I could have killed Vader. But the downside is if you Fighting Pit with Vader and he rolls a 3 or the 4, then it's a feel bad. Now I did Fighting Pit. Rey rolled a special, which is hooray. But Greedo just rolled back into the 2 indirect, so that hurt. And eventually Vader just struck down Rey. So that was the first game, but the second one I came back, I don't know, mitigated better. I started using Rey's power action to just blank Vader's die as opposed to trying to mess with Kylo's die. And I rolled better. And, things like Neiman Mastery are pretty awesome. So can't dispute that. So a great day of Destiny for me personally. Finished 3-3 against Greg. It's one of those things, right? My Raylo went 3-1, his Vader went 3-1. So, and they split against each other. So good times all around. Really enjoyed it. And afterwards, we just kind of sat around and chatted about some things. And it's good to get caught up with your friends. It's probably the reason we play the game, right? To hang out and talk. And that was fun. And we started talking about covert missions because, as you know, hopefully you know that covert missions is going to be released worldwide on March 6th, which is great. And in Houston, there's currently scheduled to be a Prime on March 7th. Greg had intentions of going to that one, but it looks like that won't be the case. Or if he does go, he won't be able to commit to the whole thing. I don't think I'm going to go because that's the opening day of my son's baseball season. However, his first game is the very first game that day. So it's at 8 a.m. So, If I can wrap that game up by 9 or 10, then it's conceivable I could show up and play if they keep it there. I know there's a movement to try to move some of these primes so that covert missions will be legal. And, we'll just see how it goes. But how does this impact what we're doing? Well, let me tell you a story, my friends. But a while ago, back when we thought Destiny would live forever, Nick from Game Shop of Destiny sent me some things, including the packs that I've been opening. So thank you for that. But he also sent me some promo cards, and they were nice. So they were the entire third quarter kit from 2019. So if I'm holding them in my hands, but I'm gonna read them off. So these are promo cards, official FFG promo cards: Pulse Cannon, Outpace, 3 Lessons, Neiman Mastery, Separatist Embargo, and Admiral. So these are all official FFG promo cards from that kit. And then he also sent 2 other promo cards from the previous quarter. It is the Mr. Bones card, and then I Perform Violence. Greg coincidentally used I Perform Violence to great effect with his Vader deck. But yes, so a total of 8 promo cards, the 6 from the third quarter kit, and then 2 from the previous kit, the Mr. Bones kit. So you have Mr. Bones and I Perform Violence. And so we've been talking back and forth about ways to hand those out or to give them out as promos for Jank It Up Fuzzball. And we talked about maybe doing some kind of tournament or bracket. And so I pitched this idea to Greg today. I'm like, Greg, since you're not playing in that prime, and I may or may not be playing in that prime, how would you feel about kind of soliciting decks, really, really janky decks to play in a tournament? And then we have these prizes that were provided from Game Shop, and we can give them away. And Greg liked the idea. And then we said, well, when can we do it? We have covert missions coming on the 6th. Do we want to wait until it's actually like into March, and then we could ask? And I think Greg's idea is a good one, where he said, no. We have nothing going on between now and covert missions being released. Let's do it now. He said, because by the time the new set comes out, I'm going to have to spend time learning new cards, and the pool is just going to be different. And all that is true. So we're going to try to squeeze this in between now and the release of covert missions. And when I say try, I mean we will squeeze this in. But here's what we're going to do. And I want you to embrace your inner jank. But here's what we want. I'm asking for anybody, but particularly you, my listeners, to submit decks, but there are conditions. You must submit decks that include 0 legendary cards and 0 uncommon cards. So no pink, no yellow. They can be gray. So if they're starter sets, they can be rare, green, of course, and they can be common, which are blue. Here's how it's going to work. I just want you to submit ideas. They don't have to be complete decks, by the way. What I'm asking for is character pairing, and then up to 10 dice cards outside of your characters. They don't have to be 10, but up to 10, no more than 10. And then any other cards you think are mainstays, right? So you don't have to give me a complete 30 card list. That's not what you have to do. But if you say, hey, I want this character pairing, and these are the 10 rare dice cards I want you to use, then that will allow me to fill in whatever else. And that's fine. But you need to at least submit a character pairing and 10 cards. So just send me at least that much. Again, if you have a complete deck you want to submit, that's fine. If for any reason Greg or I do not have cards to fill out your idea, we reserve the right to sub in as best we can with an appropriate substitute. So again, if you're familiar with Magic at all, this is like the Pauper format, right? It's all basic cards. So no legendaries, no uncommons, just straight rares and starter set cards only. All right, so here's how this is going to go down. Today, as I'm recording this, is, let's see, the 16th. We're going to say by the 26th of February, right? So by midnight that night, Tuesday night, the 26th of February, we will basically draw 4 decks from the available submitted pool. And based on those 4 decks, Greg and I will be assigned 4 decks. We'll randomly assign decks, and then we'll put them in a 4-team bracket. So think of it as the Final 4 or as just the semifinals. But we will have 4 decks that were suggested by you, the listener, or the fans of Jank It Up Fuzzball. They will be very janky decks, right? They will be very, very low power decks, probably, potentially. And then we will play. We'll not just play one game apiece. We'll play 2 out of 3 for each of these 3 matches. So we'll have the semifinals and the finals. So a single person can submit up to 3 decks, or 3 deck ideas, I should say. And then based on all the submissions, we will select 4. You are only allowed to have 1 representation in the 4, though. So if we draw your name in a deck, then we will exclude any future drawings of your name. So at most, to make the bracket, there's going to be 1 of yours. But you can submit up to 3. So that's just more times your name is in the hat, so to speak. So that weekend, after the 26th, so like the last weekend in February, or first weekend in March, I honestly don't know where the first falls, but we will play 2 out of 3 for the 2 semifinals, and then probably not that same day, because it'll be potentially 6 matches, but somewhere very shortly thereafter, we will play the finals and crown a champion of Jank, so to speak. And the winner, whichever deck wins the whole thing, whether it's piloted by me or Greg, and I understand that many of you are already hoping that Greg is the one that pilots your deck. I get that. I don't take offense. I take a little offense, but it's okay. I get it. But whichever the winner, whoever wins the tournament will be given all 6 cards of the quarterly kit. So Pulse Cannon, Outpace, 3 Lessons, Neiman Mastery, Separatist Embargo, and Admiral. You will get these 6 promo cards. I'll mail them to you. And then whoever comes in second, so if you make the finals but you do not win, you will get Mr. Bones and I Performed Violence. You will get those 2. So that will be your consolation prize. For the other 2 that are there, I'll send you some Savage Asajj 2020 stickers or something. You'll get something. I'll send you some stickers in the mail. I'll send you some jank loot. But the big prizes go to the champion and the runner-up. And that's basically it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. We're excited to play janky decks that are crowdsourced, that you suggest. And again, the more details you give us, if you give us a full 30-card deck, we will do our best to get those cards in there. And if for any reason we're missing a copy or don't have a copy, we will sub something in. But like I said, you do not have to take the time if you don't want to take the time to build an entire 30-card deck. But you do, at a minimum, have to give us the character pairing, the plot, if necessary, the battlefield, and at least 10 cards. All your dice cards, right? We will not add a dice card unless you specify it. So if you only give us 4 dice cards outside of your characters, then that's going to be the deck. So make sure you have a pretty good idea of what's going to win. Obviously, you want to make it to the finals because then you get the prizes. And we'll see where it goes. But no uncommon cards and no legendary cards. So that'll be very different than some of the games we played today, where we have Vader Saber and Neiman Mastery and all that. All that's going to be gone. To enter, just submit your deck list, or at least your character pairing, plot, battlefield, and a minimum of 10 cards to me via a Facebook private message or direct message through Twitter or Instagram, or of course you can email me, jankitupfuzzball@gmail.com. And if you just want to build something in the database and take a screenshot of it and send that, that's fine too. Like I said, we will do everything we can to match your suggested deck card for card. And if we need to, we will make accommodations. But I will not add any dice cards. So again, if you feel strongly about having additional dice in this deck, make sure you list that. And then I think we're good. And you can submit up to 3. So have some fun with it. Maybe come out with different factions or different types of decks. That sounds great. But yes. And if you're wondering how far back, I should say that. This is all standard. So this is everything from Legacies up through Spark of Hope. Again, no legendary cards and no uncommon cards. But any green or blue or gray card is fair game. Get them in by next Tuesday night, midnight. And then on Wednesday, we will draw the 4 decks. And then we will assign 2 to me and 2 to Greg. And then that weekend, we'll get together, Greg and I, and we'll play 2 out of 3 in the 2 semifinal matches. And then from that point, we'll know who our 2 finalists are, and we will play that out at a date not that far away. So we'll wrap this tournament up before Covert Missions comes out, and it'll give us something a little exciting to do. It will be fun for us to play Jank. We enjoy it. And so, stripping away the legendaries, stripping away the uncommon cards, I'm looking forward to it. Huge thank you to Game Shop of Destiny for providing us with these promo cards. I hope that's incentive, but maybe it's just incentive to throw some Jank my way, right? And I'm happy to see, even if I don't draw your name, again, I'm not selecting the decks based on what you do. Just like with my other giveaways, it will be a random drawing. But I'm excited to see what you throw my way, no matter what, because maybe there will be some really fun ideas that I want to put together, and we'll see. I'll have complete details on this on the website, and I'll certainly be publishing it out through the Discord. Again, you can find us on Discord, Jank It Up Fuzzball. That is an open Discord, so if for any reason you need an invitation, let me know, and I'm happy to give that to you. But you can join us there. All right, I think that's it. It's a short episode. Vader killed me. Raylo's good. We're going to give away some promos. We're going to play some Jank. We'll roll some dice, and we'll have some fun. But it wouldn't be an episode of Jank It Up Fuzzball without cracking packs. And last time I cracked 3 packs. That was pretty awesome. And we got the double cultural records, which was wild. And then we got the GH7 droid. Well, this time I have 2 more that will do because, eventually Covert Missions is going to come out. And then any additional Spark of Hope boosters I have will be a lot less interesting to crack. So we have a pack each from Kingwood Hobbies. Thank you, Trey. And Game Shop of Destiny. Thank you, Nick. And let's crack these open and see what we get. Hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully it'll be something cool. If it's another cultural records, though, man, feel bad. I may just lie to you at that point. I won't lie to you. Come on now. All right, here we go. This first pack is from Kingwood Hobbies. So Trey, thank you very much. Let's open it up and see what we get. It is a red die, and it features Thrawn on it. But, mercifully, it is not cultural records. It is Mastermind. It is a villain 1-cost upgrade ability, and it has Thrawn looking very serious on the artwork. It is an upgrade ability. It has a die that reads 1 focus, 1 resource, special blank. The special reads, name a card, then reveal an opponent's hand and set each copy of the named card from it aside. Yeah, this is Thrawn heavy. I don't have a Thrawn. Greg has a Thrawn. I don't have any of the old Thrawn. So Thrawn is a mind game kind of format that I'm just not privy to. But it's interesting in the fact that you can name a card, and then, assuming you have hand knowledge, I could see where this is really important. But without hand knowledge, you're just like grasping at straws, kind of hoping that you somehow hit. But that's probably why it's red villain, because then you have things like counterintelligence and other ways to kind of thin out the hand or get in the hand. So there you go, Mastermind. That is the rare, and it could be part of a deck that you suggest to us for our Jank Madness tournament. It's a play on March Madness, even though it's going to be done in February. Game's dead. I'm grasping at straws here, people. All right, Mastermind, what is the uncommon? See, here's an uncommon that you probably don't want to include, even if you could, but you can't. But it's Caretaker's Village. It is a 2-cost blue hero support location. After an opponent's effect removes one of your apprentice or Jedi dice, you may exhaust the support to roll that die into your pool. So again, if an opponent removes one of your apprentice or Jedi dice, you may exhaust this and roll it into your pool. I actually like that effect. I just don't like it costing 2. It is a support, so it could be DM'd, but 2's a lot. I looked at this card when I was building my Raylo, and I'm like, pass, because two resources is potentially your whole turn. Like, that's all the money you start with, and getting money in Raylo is not the easiest thing. So, it's not in a deck that I've built yet. That's not to say it couldn't work great in a Yoda 2 build, right? With an apprentice, maybe you have Ahsoka, maybe you have a youngling. There's other, a youngling, that's a stupid example because they don't have dice. But maybe there's a way that you could use that. Let's move on to the comments. We have Pushing Slash. It's an event move. It is neutral. It is a 1-cost blue event move. Activate one of your blue characters, then you may resolve one of that character's character or upgrade dice. If that character has a card titled Neiman Mastery on it, you may turn a die to any side. I have one of this in my Raylo, and it came up. I didn't play it, but it was in my hand near the end of the game, and I thought I could do it, but at the same time, I didn't like my odds on what I would be able to do with it. I think if I had it to play on Kylo, I think I'd be more excited about that. But Rey was my only character alive at the time, and I just didn't feel good about rolling Rey out. And then, wow, there's a special to give me more shields when I really need to kill someone. So didn't play it there, but it's a solid card. 1 cost, neutral blue event. Next up is Rally the Troops. It is a 0 cost red villain event. Choose a character subtype. Then either reroll any number of dice that have that subtype or resolve 2 of your dice that have that subtype. So let's review that. Choose a character subtype. All right. Let's say Trooper. Then either reroll any number of dice that have that subtype or resolve 2 of your dice that have that subtype. So it allows you to reroll something, and you're like, well, why would I spend this to reroll my own dice that I could only reroll like Trooper dice? Well, in this case, it has the flexibility that you could always say someone else, your opponent's subtype, whatever they're using, and then you can use this card, as long as it's a character subtype, you could use this card to reroll any of those dice. Or you could also, the flexibility of resolving 2 of your dice that have the same subtype. So if you do have Troopers and you can play this, you could resolve, hypothetically, one has a resource, another has a 2 for a resource, then you could resolve them both in that sequence and been able to plug 2 into an opponent. So has flexibility. I know it doesn't show up a lot in competitive play, but it's a nice card for the reason, for the flexibility. So it's interesting, and it costs nothing, so that's good value. Lastly, we have Acceptable Losses. It is another villain card. It is gray. It is 0 cost. Defeat up to 3 of your characters to gain that many resources. It features battle droids on the art, which is appropriate because you're probably not going to defeat anything that costs a lot or has a lot of dice. But battle droids, Ewoks, those kinds of things can work. Obviously, it's a villain card, so unless you're running Ewoks with a Infus Nest Marauder, you probably don't have access to this. But if you're in a pinch and you have someone that's about dead, then you can play this, defeat that character, and get at least a resource back. I suppose also if you have a bunch of Night Sister zombies and you need a bunch of money, this could work as well. It is gray, so it can be dropped in any non-Raylo deck that you want. All right, so thank you, Trey and Kingwood Hobbies. Let's review. Mastermind was the rare. Caretaker Village was the uncommon. And then we had Pushing Slash, Rally the Troops, and Acceptable Losses. All right, Game Shop of Destiny. Here we go. Let's see what we get. All right. We've been doing Spark of Hope for so long now. It's inevitable, you would think. Mathematically, probably not, but it's inevitable that we start seeing duplicates. And so here, for the second time on the show, is Rocket Booster. It is a 2-cost gray neutral upgrade mod. It has die that reads 1 ranged, 2 indirect, 3 indirect for a pay, 1 shield, 2 shield, or a miss. It says modify droid character or support. Action, activate attached droid, then resolve any number of its character support and upgrade dice. Discard this upgrade. So, I like the idea of this card. I haven't committed to playing it yet. But I like the idea of putting this on a character, maybe IG-88 perhaps, or any other droid, or even like on a Hellfire. That gets really spicy there. And then you can activate it. Then you can resolve any number of its character support or upgrade dice, including this, right? And this die is pretty nice. And then you just have to discard it. So you get a little action cheating at the end there if you want to, if you choose to. So it's pretty nice. So Rocket Booster is the rare. The uncommon is Salvaged Arm. Wow, I'm sensing a droid theme here. Upgrade mod. It is a 1-cost hero upgrade mod. It is red. Modified droid character or support. Before you resolve one of attached droid's character support or upgrade dice, you may exhaust this upgrade to increase its value by 1. So yes, Salvaged Arm, all the rage in your droid decks, your hero droid decks. And I think I have one of these, but this gives me a playset, so that is super nice. Salvaged Arm is the uncommon. All right, let's go to the comments. Decisive Blow. Now we're talking 3 cost. Very janky card. So it's a 3 cost blue neutral event. It's got an amazing picture of Dooku slicing off Anakin's arm from Attack of the Clones. Resolve one of your dice showing melee damage against a character. Then remove all of that character's character and upgrade dice. There you go. If you've got the money, man, what a blowout that would be, right? Hence, Decisive Blow. Someone put this in a deck for me to play with. That's what I want. That would be awesome. Next up, Spark of Hope, the namesake of the set. Also 3 cost. It is a red hero event. Decrease the cost of this event by 1 for each defeated character you have. Reroll any number of your dice, then resolve any number of your dice. What's funny is just now I was reading that. After I read the first paragraph, I was like, oh, well, this could be somehow in an Ewok deck because you have lots of dead murder bears, and this would decrease the cost of this. And then I got to the second paragraph, which says reroll any number of your dice. And then I thought, Ewoks is a horrible choice because they don't usually operate with a lot of dice. So 3 cost, it is red hero. It can be cheaper if you have some dead characters, but it lets you reroll and resolve any number of your dice. Lastly, the last card of the evening, Dead or Alive, Downgrade Bounty. It is a 1 cost neutral downgrade. It's yellow, of course. Play only if you spot a bounty hunter. After attached character is activated, you may gain 1 resource. After attached character is defeated, you may gain 1 resource. So yes, in our earlier games with Greg, when he had Vader Greedo and I had Jabba IG-88, we each had a Dead or Alive out on the other player's big character. So I had put one on Vader, and eventually he put one on IG-88. So it's just a whole bunch of money being passed back and forth through activation. But it is a great bounty, and if you're running bounties or you're running yellow, it's kind of worth putting on there so long as you have a bounty hunter. And Greedo fits that role for the deck there. So to recap, we have Rocket Booster is our rare, our uncommon is Salvaged Arm, and our 3 common cards are Decisive Blow, Spark of Hope, and Dead or Alive. So that is it. Thank you to Game Shop of Destiny and to Kingwood Hobbies again for always providing me with packs to crack. It's been surreal, really, that people have been donating stuff like that and giving me packs to do. It's always fun. It's always fun to see the cards. I can't wait to do it with Covert Missions. That's going to be amazing. And you know what? Now that we finally know, we have a date. Now, we say that. It could change. You never know. It could change. But March 6th doesn't sound that far away, and it's going to be here. And that's going to be really exciting. So with a little luck, the next pack I crack on the show might be Covert Missions. So that's it. Special surprise episode. And I'm just as surprised as you are. But do me a favor. Submit a deck. Submit it through Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or the Gmail, jankitupfuzzball@gmail.com. Submit a deck. No legendaries, no uncommons. Give me something crazy to play. Me and Greg. We're going to have a Final Four tournament. We'll randomly draw 4 decks. We'll assign them between the 2 of us. We'll play 2 out of 3 for each match. And the winning deck will get 6 promo cards from the quarterly kit. The runner-up will get the Mr. Bones and the I Perform Violence promo cards. All of those generously donated by Game Shop of Destiny. And we'll have a good time. It'll give us something to do in the waning weeks before what we assume to be the release of Covert Missions. I'm looking forward to seeing what you got for me. And I hope many of you will take advantage of this, right? Tell me what to play. Give me something fun for my kitchen table, for me and Greg to play with. We're looking forward to it. In the meantime, keep your spirits up. New cards are on the horizon. And of course, play some jank, roll some dice, have some fun. We'll talk soon.